When Harry Met Sally, a photography podcast, would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the lands and waters in which we are recording this podcast on today. As people who work with artists seeking meaning and knowledge through storytelling, we recognise the first peoples of this nation have been doing so for over 60,000 years. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging across Australia. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
None of this is possible without the fantastic help we've had from
Collarts. Thank you so much for the support on providing your pod suites. Nikon Australia, incredible ambassadors for the photography industry.
And Ted's Camera Store, also great ambassadors, have been around forever and are doing wonderful work. And A&L Artistic Framers, who have been framing photography and art for as many years as I can think. Thank you all so very much.
Welcome back to When Harry Met Sally.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Sally. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. And what about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Excellent.
We're well and truly into season 2.
We certainly are.
Having a great time.
It's been different to season 1, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
It's been as exciting, but also quite a different group of people that we've been talking to, and we've been going down different paths. And in fact, today is a really interesting conversation we're going to be having because we're revisiting one of our
first return guests.
It's our first return guest. So
but we have 2 guests today.
Yes, we do.
And they're both students at Collarts we're sitting in their beautiful podcast booths as we chat away. So welcome back to the podcast, Matilda Baumann, and welcome to the podcast, Tom Golsworthy.
You got it right.
Hello, thank you for having me.
But I think you added a D in there. I think it's Golsworthy. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, that's
correct.
correct.
Did I say the D?
Yeah.
You did.
I didn't
it was
mean
like,
to.
don't
I
say
just
the D.
stumbled
That's
on
right.
it. I knew that it was Golsworthy because we had that conversation.
Yeah.
So.
As long as you get the spelling right, you're fine.
Don't say the D.
Apologies, Tom.
But it
welcome,
is exciting.
both of
Yeah,
you.
it's great. Thank you both for coming in so much. And you've just met each other now too, so you
Yes.
didn't know each other. So, Matilda, for those of our listeners that were listening in season 1, can you just recap a little bit about what you did last year?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm now currently a second-year photography student at Collarts. At the time of the first season episode, I was focusing a lot on portraiture, particularly self-portraiture. And at the moment, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot more this episode, I'm working a lot more on fashion photography at the moment. And I think that is what my decided niche is going to be moving forward, which is very exciting because I was very clueless a year ago as to what I was actually, going to be pursuing with photography, but that's where I'm at now.
So as in like for your whole future or just for your the final year at Collarts?
I think that's kind of what I want to continue doing post Collarts and everything. It's what I'm really finding a lot of passion in at the moment and what I think it's meeting that niche that I was looking for that was like, I want to do portraiture, but I want it to still be creative and fun and not just headshots or weddings and stuff like that, which isn't really for me. And I'm just really passionate about fashion at the moment, and I really hope that is what I continue doing.
Yeah, I've been looking at some of your work that you've been shooting recently.
Thank you.
You're working with some, interesting looking talent.
For sure.
They street talent friends or...
So at the moment, I guess this is a little shout out. One of my teachers from the first year of Collarts, Nikki Bruce, she's the creative director for a fashion company, Revival Runway, which is all a volunteer-led fashion company.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with them.
Yes. And so she got me to shoot for a couple of shows last year, and I've continued doing that this year.
That's
and
great.
it's just been a whirlwind, and it's been really exciting, and I just love it. Yeah.
And it's wonderful to see that you have grown from first year into this year, and you're finding your way, I guess, aren't you?
Yeah,
and
for
there
sure.
still might be a lot more change to go.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I don't
embrace
doubt.
it.
Yeah, I don't doubt. I'm not just locking myself in for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just excited about the fact that because last year I always had people asking, so where's this going to take you? What are you going to do with your photography degree and stuff like that? And I was always kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
imagine.
sorry.
Just think back to when you were 13. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
Piss off.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
No idea, but you don't say that at 13 because
No,
you're
you
polite.
don't.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's
I
just
think
really
I might have,
exciting. It's just really exciting that I feel like I have a bit more of a direction with this now, and I can actually answer that question with a proper answer, not just, I'm going to see what's going to happen.
I can really feel your energy's changed a lot as well from last year too.
Yeah. Definitely less nervous about this. I'm so nervous about doing
We're
this
pretty
last
scary
time.
though. It's Harriet. It's Harriet that makes us scary.
So you're working and studying.
She just ignored me then.
Yep. Always working. Gotta pay rent and stuff.
So where are you working?
So I still work just normal retail at Dan Murphy's down in Endeavour Hills, but I'm also doing all of those volunteer positions. I've got a lot of like personal shoots planned now that feel a bit more professional. Unfortunately still not paid. But I feel like it's just I'm getting my foot in the door is pretty much the gist of it. Like I really feel like I'm going somewhere with this, which is really exciting for me. Yeah.
And so Tom, are you feeling like everyone's asking you the question of what do you want to do with your photography?
Yeah, I guess people are, but I was sort of niched down as soon as I got into it. I had a pretty clear direction of what I wanted to do, shooting live music photography and just having a really strong passion for music myself. I found it quite easy to identify what I wanted to do in the first place, and then explaining that's obviously quite easy.
Yeah.
As well.
So you obviously, well, not obviously, for those that haven't seen Tom, I'm suggesting that you might be a mature age student.
Yes.
Suggesting
got out of that. Well, he doesn't look 18.
Well, if you're saying I'm not looking like a boy and looking like a man, I'll take that as a compliment.
You definitely look like a man, darling. But what did you do before photography?
So I was studying. I moved to Melbourne from Mildura, a small country town, when I was 19, fresh out of school, and I started studying psychology.
No, I wanted you to be a tradie.
Yes. Sally was guessing I was a tradie based on my look. So, do with that as you will. But after doing that,
totally shallow, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Stereotyping. Anyway, I
Don't
bounced.
psychologise at all for me or anything. So you did psychology. Why psychology?
I did psychology at high school as well, and I was just really interested in human behaviour and why people do certain things and theories that explain human behaviour, particularly behaviours that we aren't conscious of. And I find that just quite interesting to see how everyone behaves in different ways for different reasons based on what they've been through in their life with the whole question of nature and nurture. So I was quite interested in that. And then I bounced around and did a few more things. I started doing journalism. I started doing law. Didn't follow through on any of those and ended up in more of a creative industry. So that might have been a bit of a sign to me as to where I should have started versus where I've ended up so far.
But how lucky that you found it still, like you're obviously still relatively young, right?
Yes.
What are you? It doesn't matter what you are, but a lot of people,
very old.
A lot of people can take a lifetime to work that out. I'm working with people that are in their 40s and 50s that I went down the path of law or psychology, and now I really want to get my creative on. In fact, I wrote a book about it. I just did that for Harriet because I love a bit of self-promotion.
She loves a bit of promotion.
Leap into your creative life. But it's great that you had that opportunity to, work and try all these different things. But certainly starting law, journalism, social work, psychology, all of those things are going to be needed in your photography anyway. Do you find that?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of networking involved, and I've found that through those other degrees that I've started, and particularly through journalism, learning how to write, and that definitely helps me with my studies at Collarts, but then also professionally being able to present myself in the way that I want to, being in a creative industry, but still having that professionalism and business sense, I find really helps a lot. And I was also a personal trainer during those times studying as well. So no
wonder we get on so well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was I'm probably quite shy and introverted by nature, but developing my developing more of my social skills. She's called me out, but I'm pretty good at faking it till I make it a little bit. But really learning to converse with a broad demographic through that personal training and teaching group classes has been really valuable for me in my networking throughout photography so far.
And I love that you acknowledge that too, and that you can see, even working at Dan Murphy's or anything like that where you're public facing and when you've got to deal with people. Yep. I cut my teeth shooting weddings many years ago, and it wasn't like I grew up to be a wedding photographer. It wasn't where I thought that I'd go for a while, but it was fantastic sort of trying to get people that were all so different and awkward and weren't used to being photographed and pulling them together and using all of your skill sets of your personality and getting through all of that. So with your music, what was it about music? I thought you were going to say you studied music, but you clearly didn't. You just like listening to music?
Yeah, I've always loved listening to music. Probably my first memory of really getting into music was when I forced my dad into signing us up for Spotify when I was about 13 or so, where that was a bit more in its infancy, and I didn't want to keep buying songs for $2.50 a pop on iTunes and getting hundreds of dollars of iTunes vouchers every year. Yeah. So that's probably when I first started listening to music more, and then the diversity and range you can get through Spotify now is obviously pretty amazing. But yeah, don't play any instruments, don't sing or anything like that as much as I would like to. But yeah, I'm just really into music and listen to a really broad range of music. And yeah, photography affording me that opportunity to see more live bands and getting up close and personal. And like I said, with the psychology of studying psychology, learning more about the bands and why they do what they do and their story behind the music as well is a really good opportunity to get through my photography.
So you've got a lot of live music on your Instagram page. You're obviously going to a lot of gigs. Are you getting kind of behind the scenes and working with the bands outside of the stage? Yeah,
definitely. I've started to shoot some bigger bands now with a few more monthly listeners on Spotify, which is what we equate with success a bit more now, interestingly enough, in the music industry. But yeah, some smaller bands I sort of got onto when I first started shooting. I've had the opportunity to work with more and do some sort of studio shoots and promo shoots and do some posters, and I actually started managing a band as well and booking some events and organising everything that they need to do, because bands tend to be a little bit on the back foot sometimes, so someone to prod them along a little bit is pretty important.
Okay.
They have weird requests like just red M&Ms or?
No, I'm not having to sort out their riders or anything like that.
And what about going to festivals, like music festivals like Byron Bay and some of all the festivals that are around now? Like, are you going to them? Have you got any gigs there yet?
Yeah, so I had my first festival over New Year's, which was really exciting. I got to shoot at Beyond the Valley at Baroona Plains for the first time doing a festival. It's the first time I went to Beyond the Valley, and I was shooting Beyond the Valley for Beat magazine. So there's lots of Beat magazines around Collarts if you want to pick them up. They're free. But yeah, I got that opportunity and it was really rewarding. It was hard work and it was exhausting, but it was amazing getting to shoot all of these international acts, getting a massive photo pit to work within and just learning to negotiate that and coordinate that with other photographers. And I actually got to do a couple of interviews as well in a podcast booth. A little bit different to this.
No wonder you're so professional.
So I got to interview a couple of different artists doing that, and that was a great opportunity as well to add a bit of breadth to what I do in terms of my business side of things, I guess, and that's something I'd be interested in venturing into a little bit more in the future as well.
The business side of your photography?
The business side of the photography, and also doing some more podcasting, and like I said, the psychology playing into it, and be able to delve a little bit deeper into those things with some bands, particularly local bands that don't get the exposure that they would like to get. I think that's a great opportunity to, that's going to be mutually beneficial.
What are we thinking when Harry met Sally, who met Tom?
And Matilda.
Featuring Matilda occasionally, once a year.
And so, Matilda, what about you? As you've been going through Collarts, are you kind of becoming more interested in that business side and what has to go on around the outside of just taking photos?
Yeah, definitely. I think like last year I was definitely really scared about that sort of stuff because I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I know that I think that I'm a good photographer. I don't know if I'm a good business person, you know, and
a lot of
and
photographers
especially
think.
exactly, and
I've made a whole living on them not being.
True, exactly. But I don't know. Especially if I was going to be like, you know, freelance or whatever it is, you know, that in combination with like ADHD and stuff like that, not a great combo. So like dealing with all of that sort of stuff was definitely really like scary for me. And I was always kind of like, I'll deal with that later. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just focus on taking nice photos. But I think especially now that I've done one of my commercial units and I'm doing one of my commercial units currently, I think my teacher, Jason Lau, he is like such a good resource for stuff like that because he's, you know, he's in the industry actively and he's also a fashion photographer mostly. So it's really good to like get the insight from him on like the business stuff, and it makes it a lot less scary once you've like, you know, put your toe into the water. It's like, oh, this is fine, you know. You'll learn about it and you'll grow with it and stuff like that. So I'm definitely interested in learning more about that sort of stuff.
Do you know what I've loved with both of you? You're talking about your lecturers here at Collarts and you're calling them by name and you obviously, how important has it been for you as a student at Collarts to have these great lecturers? You know, what have you learnt, obviously from Jason, the business side of things? What else has the lecturing staff at Collarts brought to you?
Honestly, just like a sense of like self-confidence in my work. I think I definitely came to Collarts being like, I think I'm good at photography, but also like imposter syndrome and all that sort of stuff. So I definitely think that people like Jason and Ricky, especially last year when I had him for quite a few trimesters, have just made such an impact on like how I approach photography, and that it doesn't need to be, as a perfectionist, perfect every single time or the first time, and that this is all, you know, about growing, and it's all, you know, just experimenting and not worrying so much about like what other people necessarily think of your work, and just worrying about like making photography that feels good to you and stuff like that. And
actually making it imperfect
exactly
can sometimes be the perfect thing for you.
Absolutely. I've definitely learned that.
Perfection is exhausting as well.
It
and
is.
it makes you overthink
horrible.
everything, you know. And we work and have spoken to lots of people that have been perfectionists. And I've certainly worked with many that have struggled with being like that. And I think you really do have to find out who you are as a person and what you're capable of, and understand what your limits are at this point. And that's why photography is such a beautiful learning curve the whole way. And then it's all of a sudden it's like, wow, okay, now I know that. And now I can add this.
Yep, for sure.
And did you say at the beginning that with Revival Runway that that's a Collarts teacher that runs that and gave you the opportunity?
So Nikki Bruce, she's the creative director of Revival Runway. She's also one of the fashion teachers here, and she did a critical thinking unit from like Try One. But yeah, she was the one she approached me and a couple of other students just being like, hey, I've got a runway. Do you guys want to come and shoot like behind the scenes and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I do.
Did all the students she approached say yes?
So she only approached like a couple of us, because I'm assuming, I don't know if that was based on if she's seen our work or maybe Ricky recommended us or something like that. But she came up to us and recommended us, and everyone like wanted to. I think the only reason people said no was because they just couldn't make it on the day or whatever. But yeah, for sure, most people who have like who went to that first show, which was back, I couldn't remember the date, maybe March last year, have like since been asked to attend all of the Revival Runway shows since then, which has been like 2 more shows since then. Yeah.
You mentioned
great opportunities.
Yeah, sorry, Harry. Yes. No, thank you. You mentioned critical thinking. Can you talk to us a bit about that? What's that subject about? Obviously, it's about critical thinking.
I hope I can remember, because it was trimester 1.
Have you just done this, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get Tom
maybe
to answer
you can talk about it.
Because Matilda's gone bright red and looking at me like, are you kidding me?
It was I will just say it wasn't, I think, a really good subject.
Okay.
I feel like I learned... I don't remember all the specifics, but I remember sitting there and being like, this is really valuable knowledge. And I've got notes on it all, so I'll look back on that.
And I'm going to forget it when I walk out.
Exactly.
Tom, talk to us about critical thinking. I'm interested to know. It's a great subject. I've not heard about it.
Yeah, so it's a part of the subjects at Collarts that aren't necessarily geared towards the creative side of things, although they do have great application within that. But what I notice as a mature age student coming from different tertiary backgrounds is that these subjects, particularly critical thinking, equip the students with skills around research and academic skills and then those skills intertwined with how to think critically and not necessarily being subjective all the time. And art is often subjective, but adding a little bit of objectivity into your work is quite important, and questioning your convictions and staying open-minded and ethically considering some of the things that ethics are involved with photography, which is quite prominent now, particularly with the use of AIs as much as it gets spoken about, and also just with copying other people's work and all that sort of thing and all the implications that has, and considering those things as well as the creative side of things within whatever course it is that you're studying.
Put it so succinctly. That was better than I could have ever put it.
Now, do you remember what it was?
Yes, perfectly. Crystal clear. Yeah.
It's all flooding back. All the knowledge is back, you know.
And so with I called it rock and roll before, and you just laughed at me and then walked in the other direction, which was slightly rude. I coped with it. With your music photography, it's really hard to make money out of music photography. Did you know that?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm well aware.
So what else is it that you're going to do with your photography? Or you don't know, and it's okay not to know either.
Or you're doubling down and it's just music.
Well, I do.
And you are going to make money out of it.
Well, to be honest, my attitude is that I know I really want to get involved in music at this point, and that's always been my goal from the outset. So I really do want to double down because that's what I want to do. And if that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to put my energy into. And I'm a big believer in just fully committing to whatever it is that you're invested in, I guess. So there's
good for you. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trick question. It was just like whether it was like Matilda was trying to work out with, portraiture last year and has moved into fashion. Do you have a part-time job?
No, I'm just doing photography at the moment. So I've managed to get some paid work through musicians, funnily enough. They do have a little bit of money to spare every now and again. But I've been really well looked after by some of the Collarts teachers, particularly Ricky and Vicky. I'm now shooting for John Travers Photography, and I've got my first job with them this week doing a Deb Ball, so headshots and group shots for Deb Ball. So I've been lucky enough to get that opportunity, and last week I think Ricky told me about an opportunity to work with Killing Heidi, and it's their 25th anniversary coming up soon. So doing a bit of a commercial shoot with them in May is coming up. So that's going to be a really good exercise for me.
I'm feeling really old because I remember when Ella Hooper jumped on the scene, and that's 20 years ago, right?
25 now, even.
Shush.
About when I was born.
Yeah,
so.
Righto.
That's good. So you are, because we talk about diversifying your business a lot and like making sure you've got different income streams, and so you are like working in other areas, but it's all going into making sure that hopefully that one day it can all come from music.
Exactly. Like Sally said, there isn't a whole lot of money in the music industry, particularly post-COVID now, and getting back to live shows. And live shows is really the only way that a lot of musicians make money now with streaming services coming into it. So yeah, diversifying and getting a bit of other work to add to my income is nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you've also said, you've had a go at podcasting and journalism and interviewing and all of that. You could be the new Molly Meldrum. If you don't know who that is, I'm going to die. You know who that is, right?
I know the name, but
I know the name.
But
God, kill me now.
Just like the critical thinking, I just need a little refresher.
Oh, can we edit that bit out, Harry? Okay.
So I guess we asked you this in the first season, but I think it's important it's an important conversation because, photography is very accessible and we've all got cameras in our pockets with our phones, and we can buy cheap cameras, and there's YouTube tutorials and easy ways to learn how to take photos and make pictures. Why, Tom, have you decided to do a bachelor degree?
Yes. In
photography specifically.
Yeah, of course. I started shooting, like you said, just a little bit of self-learning via YouTube and a bit of reading and all that sort of thing to get myself started. But I had a bit of an eye naturally, I feel like, but I wanted to refine that and be able to have control, I think, over the photos that you are taking. And yeah, you can take a lot of photos on your phone, and many photographers do take photos on their phone because of how accessible and easy it is. But having the control over your camera, having control over lighting, those are really important things to, master, I guess, and then you can take photos in any situations. And having the hands-on knowledge with the teachers, with the expert experience here, and be able to guide you through that and hold your hand a little bit that you can develop your skills on your own is really important. And then on top of that, what Collarts offers is affiliations with lots of different businesses that allow you to get more opportunities. So those two things combined, I think, are very valuable. And in a package like that, you can't really get that anywhere else, particularly Collarts. They do it really well.
And did the decision to do a bachelor degree come in because you felt that you needed a degree in life for either of you? You know, like how parents often say, you've got to get a degree. I don't care what you've got it in, but you've got to get a degree. Was that it or not? Matilda?
That's a good question. I actually haven't thought about it that way before. I don't think there was pressure of like, you need a degree. But I think, cause especially not from my family, because my dad has a degree, but my mum never went to uni. But she has a very successful career, and she's always like been very proud of the fact that like I, have lived a perfectly happy and fulfilled life without university. So it was never really drilled into us that like you need to go to uni or anything like that. But I think for myself, it was more a thing of like, partially it was a thing of like, I don't know, if I don't go to uni, I'm not sure what my next step is. So I think I needed uni as like a stepping stone, as like, to help me kind of like, not even a stepping stone, like a trampoline. I'd go on it, I'd figure it out, and then I'd jump, when it's done, jump away, figure it out from there, So I think it was never a pressure of like, I needed a degree, like the piece of paper, but it was...
Why Collarts?
I don't know. I think Collarts just like I knew a couple of people who had attended Collarts for different degrees and stuff like that. So I think that probably influenced me a little bit. But I just think Collarts seemed like, and maybe this was just me falling for the advertising, but Collarts just seemed like the one with the right community, which is a big reason why I wanted to do like a bachelor degree in photography.
And has it lived up to that?
I definitely think so. I think both with like the student base and also all of the staff and stuff like that, it's just been an amazing experience just getting to know all these people and these creatives.
And for you, Tom, was the fact that Collarts had a very large music base here originally, was that a draw card for you with your music and your photography?
Not particularly, to be honest. It wasn't really something that I had considered, but when I started shooting, I was reaching out to a lot of local bands and getting myself involved that way. And it turned out after the fact that I was shooting some bands that Collarts students were in. So once I did get to Collarts, I said, oh, hey, Tom from Hazy Skies, you're here studying. So, or another person there from another band and they're studying as well. So it sort of happened that way. But yeah, now moving forward, being able to collaborate with students from different disciplines, I guess, at Collarts is a really, really valuable thing that you can do here.
What is it that you love about photography, Tom?
Big question. Really big question. I did have a little bit of a think about this before coming in here, and essentially what it comes down to for me is documentation of history in one way or another. And particularly what I like is moments that you can capture, and you have to be in the right place at the right time, and you capture that moment, and it might be a moment that never happens again. And I think the more rare the moment, the more joy it brings, I guess, in terms of photography. I'm not particularly into studio photography and stage photography as much. I do like doing that, but capturing something that might only happen once or never happens again is really important, and documenting that.
Who inspires you? What photographers from the past or current inspire you?
My biggest inspiration at the moment is probably Jonty Wild. He is Australian. He's from South Coast, New South Wales, and he started off doing a bit of modelling himself and now is in music photography. And he actually shoots for Nikon Australia. So I'm on the Nikon team as well. So aligning myself with that. But he creates lots of high contrast, lots of colour, shots that really pop out at you. And he also happens to have shot and been on tour with my favourite band.
Who is?
Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay.
Like a metalcore band.
Great.
And yeah, just the work he does with them and the style is really, I find is quite similar to mine, but then sort of learning a bit more about what he does and how he processes his work, how he takes his photos has really helped me have a bit more of a clear vision for what I want to do myself.
Yeah, and just a little bit of advice. Be inspired, but also make sure you retain your individuality, because Jonty's already doing that.
Yes.
Right? So we don't want you to be another Jonty, but be inspired by it and then take yourself off on your own direction.
Absolutely.
Don't fall into trying to emulate him. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Matilda, why do you love it?
I think for
Photography.
Yes.
Not heavy metal bands.
For me, it's mostly just about, I think, self-expression. I've tried many a creative medium in the past, trying to find one that really clicks for me and that I feel actually speaks to me, and I can say what I want to say in, creative ways, and none of them have ever really done that except for photography, and I've been doing it for so long, and being able to harness it and learn how to control it and really be intentional with my photography has allowed me to learn so much about myself and find a safe space, I guess, to creatively express myself in a way that feels right to me, and that's why I love photography.
And who inspires you?
At the moment, my main inspiration would probably be a Russian photographer, Elizaveta Porodina. She makes very experimental, beautiful, colourful, dreamy fashion photography mostly. And she works with lots of big celebrities and big, magazines like Vogue and stuff like that. And she's just kind of who I want to be a little bit. She just makes such amazing, beautiful photography. And
have you connected with her on social media? Have you sent her a message?
No, I haven't. That's a good idea, actually.
DM her.
Absolutely. But a lot of her work is kind of, as much as it's fashion photography, it is she studied, before becoming a photographer, she studied psychology, so the psychology to photographer pipeline is definitely very real and alive. But you can definitely see that in her work, that she has a good understanding of psychology and human behaviour, and you can see how that comes through in her work. It's, as much as it's very beautiful and colourful and dreamy, it is also quite melancholic, and it makes you wonder, what's really going on in the photo. So I think that that's probably a big aspect of her photography that inspires me a lot.
Wow. God, you guys are so articulate. It's just amazing. I'm really loving listening to you. And I think it's really, we've had a whole first season and we're getting right into the second season listening to people that are really established in the industry and people that are emerging, and there's a lot of history and a lot of experience there. But listening to you guys that maybe don't have as much experience but are just at the kind of forefront of learning is just fascinating. And I'm wondering, this is a bit of a spur of the moment question, so I hope I'm not throwing you under the bus, but is there something that you kind of have learned, it doesn't have to be technical, or it could be psychological, but is there something that you've learned through studying or just about photography at the moment that you feel is really fresh perspective or interesting information that maybe potentially some kind of more established photographers might not be kind of learning because they're kind of in their trenches already?
That is a big question. There's nothing on the top of my mind.
We'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. Tom, do you have an answer?
I think just the method behind the madness. Not so much madness, but just the methods of doing things, and not necessarily having to be traditional, like you said before, Sally, not trying to be someone else, but maybe learn how they got there and do it your own way. I don't think there's any right way to do things as long as you get the result that you want. And I find that being fresh into it and being emerging compared to some people who've been in it for a longer period of time, you can really put your own spin on it and do it the way that you see and follow your vision, rather than following a framework, I guess. So like the vision versus framework side of things is really important to pick up on, and embracing your individuality rather than trying to go with the crowd. Like sometimes being different and being that black sheep and not following what everyone else is doing is what is actually going to make you stand out and put your brand on things.
And it'll be interesting to talk to you in 10 years because what I was thinking when you were asking that question, Harry, was a lot of photographers end up in a career where they are shooting to make money, to pay a mortgage, to pay school fees, to pay off a car, and they have to pick up work that pays the bills. And I've seen over many years lots of photographers that fall out of love with photography, and it's because they've got onto that treadmill. And so it's also really important to have all of the things that you said, but perhaps sometimes that takes a second seat, but it is always important whilst you might take on a job where you are photographing headshots because that pays your bills, but every Thursday, Friday and Saturday you're out shooting bands, and that feeds your soul, and that's the love of things. So it's that fine balance, and you'll find that a lot with older photographers too, that they're just like, I've fallen out of love. But the ones that haven't are the ones that are exhibiting regularly or have personal projects on the go.
For sure. I'm just going to build on that, really. I think that, the emphasis on maybe just taking a break from photography that is like I guess necessary photography, whether it like pays the bills or, is for an assignment that you have to submit and stuff like that, I think is definitely really necessary. And I think I've found that for myself just over this holiday break that we had. I don't think I picked up my camera once because I was so burnt out from the previous trimester and the previous year as a whole, because I feel like as much as I was making, like for assignments and stuff like that, I was making work that I was really proud of and I thought was really good and I loved doing it, but it was still for an assignment and it still had a deadline and it was still like, what mark is this going to get me and stuff like that. So I think that if I had put a bit more effort into creative projects that were for me and me alone, or just didn't hold myself to such a high standard with my assignment work, I think I would have done a much better job over the holidays at putting more effort into my photography, because I just wasn't able to. I was just too I can't look at my camera right now.
That's really important to acknowledge that and put it down when it's too much, because I tell my students that all the time, when we come back from break and I say, some are like, oh my God, I shot everything, and I'm like, that's amazing, and then some are like, I couldn't even pick it up, and I'm like, well, that's amazing that you did that that you gave yourself permission to put it down, because your creativity is like a jar that's full, and you slowly kind of spend that, and you've got to kind of let it fill up again.
Absolutely.
Well, we talked about that with you in the first episode, didn't we, about Harriet having a burnout, and she we had a conversation at Christmas time, and it was like, that is it, I am out until the end of January. And I went, oh, okay, me too. And we literally did. We just stopped, both of us, for the whole of January, just to regroup and to get yourself together again before you thought of picking up a camera or took on any jobs or...
Yeah, it was definitely, I think for me, photography is really hard because it's my whole life and it's my hobby and it's my passion and it's my work, and I'm always giving all my creativity to my students and people I mentor, and I love that. I love that process. But I find it really hard to photograph because on my day off, the last thing I want to do is pick up a camera. But I'm finding that at the moment, I've been giving myself that time and letting myself not photograph because I just can't handle that. But now I'm actually finding that that's hindering me. So I need to pick up again.
Yeah,
which I'm finding tricky.
Very difficult balance. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's really important throughout a career to acknowledge, the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. And, we're experiencing in the photography or the entire creative industry a very downward turn at the moment. But I'm not bothered by it. It is quite alarming, I think, when you haven't experienced it before. But I've certainly been around the traps a bit. And you should see Tom's face, like going, how old are you? Not 25, darling, but not much older. That we do have great lows in photography, and photography and the creative industry is often the very first thing that will go when there's not a lot of money in industry, but it's also the first thing that bounces back again. So we have to ride that, and how we ride that individually, everybody takes a different ride and journey throughout that. So when you are out in the industry, because you'll be out this year.
Yeah, don't say that. Oh, my God.
Building of the networks like what Tom's been talking about,
Yeah.
Keeping in touch with Nikki, touching base with all of your lecturers. Even when you're busy, it's really important to keep in touch with your network, because often people are busy and they go, I'm really busy, I'm just not going to keep in touch with people. But that's the time. And when you're quiet, everybody's quiet, and then everybody tries to get in touch with each other. But it's always a little bit everywhere all the time. That's going to be really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Question, a thing for you to be be not question. I don't even know why I said question. You looked at me like you were going to ask a question.
Well, we're sort of coming to the end of our session.
That go quickly,
I
did
know,
it?
it did, super quickly. So we'll ask you the question we're asking everyone this season, and that is, what does the future of photography look like to you guys, being the future of photography yourselves?
Matilda, do you want to hit us with that one?
Sure, I'm happy to. I think for me, I guess my opinion in general in the photographic industry, for my photographic practice, all that sort of stuff, I think the future of photography is going to become a lot more tangible, if that makes sense. I think with so many different, and I know that it's probably been talked to death at the moment, but with AI and all the other goings on of the technological world of, photography, I think that a lot of people are, and this is in all, I've seen, in all creative industries, people are really starting to move away from most technology and really starting to move into like physical media and stuff like that. So I think that, you see that with like the return of film photography and stuff like that. So I think that that's probably going, as if this, all these technologies keep increasing and taking over and kind of getting, wherever they want to go, I think people will continue continue moving away from it, because it's just, I don't think it's what most people want, especially what most creatives want, because the whole point of creating is that it brings you joy because you're the one creating it, and it's not a machine doing it for you or doing the thinking for you. So I think that that's probably what, at least for me, and what I think, that's what the future of photography probably looks like, I hope.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah, expanding on that a little bit. Yeah, like the AI thing is quite prevalent at the moment.
What do you think of AI? I've just thrown in another question, which is really naughty of me, but you still got to answer Harriet's question, so you choose which order you want to do it in.
I'll do yours first. Going to give a bit more context to the next question, I guess.
Diplomat.
And just making sure that you're appeased, and you're of course, you need to be of most importance. So I'll just make sure that you feel important.
This guy's only just met me. He's so onto it.
Harriet's a bit more mature, so she's happy to wait her turn.
I am loving this.
I think in the way that AI enables creatives to function more efficiently is great. I think how programs like Photoshop have enabled the creative themselves to be able to work at higher efficiency. I think that side of things is really great as a tool. And then in terms of it developing more and more, I don't see that as an issue. I actually see it as a positive, because when I think about it, as AI develops more and more, it'll probably discourage people that aren't as into photography to pursue it as much, I guess. And then what that creates is photographers who are really in it for the right reasons and have a really strong sense of why they're doing it. And then I see AI oversaturating photography and creative endeavours on the whole, and I think the more oversaturated AI makes it, the greater contrast that you'll get with the human connection of art. And that's something that AI can't replicate, is the human experience that actually goes into the art, because that's what makes the art what it is. Like anyone can pump out pop songs or photography or anything like that are really, I guess, basic but still professional and really well done. But I think, like what I was speaking about earlier, the imperfections and the grit and, the experience and human connection that comes into it is really going to oppose AI. And in photography moving forward, I think it's only going to improve, even though it does seem a bit doomy and gloomy at the moment.
Amazing.
Did that answer your question too?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really interesting that you both seem to be on the same page, in different ways, but that, photography in itself will become more and more prevalent. And I think that's wonderful.
And I'd like to say Ricky Bunder, who's the head of photography here and now the head of
the George Street campus.
Has
I
done
don't know if that's his official title, but he's
we've just given it to him. Has done a wonderful job in selecting you guys to come in. As Harriet said, you were both so incredibly articulate. We knew you were from last year, and as were the other students with you as well. But Tom, it's been an absolute delight to talk to you both, and I'm really excited about the future of photography for you guys. And keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear what you're doing. I'm not going to say we'll get you back again next season, Matilda, but we might with you, Tom. But you've already done your come back, Johnny Farnham. But you never know. There's going to be, we've got a lot of plans ahead for the next few seasons. But it's been an absolute delight having you both here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been great to chat to you both.
One of the questions that we didn't ask, I know I keep going on and on, is do you have any questions for us? We asked you that last year.
Oh, you did ask me that last year.
I'm just chucking you under the bus. If you don't, we're going right now.
That's fair.
What do you think of our approaches to photography to contrast to yours, and maybe in respect to when you started versus when we started, or maybe where you both are now and how you see our trajectory and how you see the next generation of photographers emerging?
That's good.
That one.
Put you on the back foot really quickly.
I think the students that are coming through are just incredible. Like you guys, obviously, I've loved talking to you for the last hour, but I teach as well. And all the students that are coming through are just incredible. Like when I was studying photography, I mean, I did a little documentary project. Like I had fun. It was okay. There was no real depth to what I was making, and it took me years and years to get that. And I don't know if I was just like having too much fun and partying way too hard and just oblivious to what my tutors were trying to teach me, or if it just wasn't that, like it was about learning photography, not really about the story and why you're making the photos. And I think nowadays, like the critical thinking subjects and all these other subjects, it just brings so much depth to the photography you're making, whether it be, personal projects, whether it be fashion, whether it be music, whether it's commercial, whether it's documentary, art. I think everything, there has to be more levels and meaning to the work you're making now. And I just think that just means the industry is going to have the people that do stick with photography once they leave college and really stick with the career they want. It just means that industry is going to be so exciting.
And like what I was saying about the future of photography, I think that what you just said, Harriet, complements that really well. In moving forward, we'll get more storytelling essentially in the essence of it.
Would you like my answer?
Absolutely.
Not really.
He is as cheeky
Yes,
as...
I know, this banter's great.
I'm going to go down a different path.
For sure.
I think when I studied photography, we didn't have what you have now, right? So we were a lot more organised. We had a lot more tenacity. We had a lot more hunger to find out, and we were really good at researching, even things like having to find maps and Melways and find out where locations were, and being so organised that we couldn't pick up a phone and say, hey, where are you? Having 20-cent pieces in the car to go, and I'm sounding like I'm 80 years old. But what it did was it gave our era a really good grounding in how to be totally self-sufficient. Now, like Harriet, I've taught a lot over the last many, many years. What I see in students today is perhaps a lack of that. Okay, I'm trying to be really polite here.
This is good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I see a lack of it, and I see certainly since COVID, I see a lot of students since COVID have become a bit shy, a bit not as. I'm going to say this, but I don't want it to sound rude, so I'm going to try to think of another way. They're perhaps not as well as understanding of how networking works because they were locked up in that era of year 12, first, second year of college where, if you have a puppy, it's got to be socialised a little bit. And I see that happening right now with a lot of students that I'm working with. They're not as socialised as you guys are a little bit different because you are mature age students. And I do think there is a heavy reliance on the digital side of things. And I would like to see students and photographers getting a little bit back to the roots of being individual and a lot more self-sufficient in finding ways to do things, and rather than relying on just technology or just other things.
Yeah, there is like an element of like just be on time. Like the amount of times I say that to my students, just be on time, and people consistently showing up late and not responding to emails. And it seems so simple and it seems like we're nitpicking, but answer emails and show up on time.
Yeah.
Like it's two really simple things, but it will, if you turn up late to a first appointment, it's not that I'm not going to hire you again, but it's just that I will remember that.
You remember it. And we didn't have that. We were just always on time. We were always answering phone calls. And back then it was like my mum, and I'd say, we've got to buy an answering machine because if I need to have a job, if we didn't. And even today, like if there's an assistant, I've got an assistant register, just plugging that for the bubble effect. And if I think, the photographer's rang me and said, my assistant's sick, I need one at 11 o'clock. It's like, I'll phone you until I get that person who answers the phone, and then you'll ring back the next day and go, hey, what's up? And I go, what's up? You missed out on a job yesterday. And you go, surfing. And I go, wow, So, that's what I think about the difference between now and then.
And in the same vein, absolutely, that makes sense. And I think in the same vein, what I was saying about AI and contrasting between AI and humans, and in the same vein, you're saying the newer age of photography, people and students as a whole coming through, if they're not going to be on as time, if they're going to be a little bit slow with whatever they're doing or operating differently to what the generations above have been put through, and like you said, the tenacity and self-sufficient behaviour that they've needed, I think that contrast is only going to make the people who are a bit more traditional and harder working and on time, punctual, only going to make them stand out even more, I think.
Correct.
And that's something that Collarts really pushes as well. I know that with the opportunities that I've been given through some of the teachers here, it's because of rocking up to class on time.
Absolutely it is.
And, submitting your assignments on time and being able to listen and take direction, but then also being able to collaborate and communicate, which is very important as well with your networking, like you said, Sally.
Yeah, fantastic.
Even just to drive that home, like my teacher, Jason Lau, who I mentioned earlier, just the other day in class, it was like 3 of us that day. Like half the class hadn't shown up, unfortunately. And he was talking to us about how, as teachers, we offer students, jobs and opportunities, but we offer it to the ones who show up. And you need a reputation of showing up.
And you know what? And it's just bloody rude.
That's it,
right? What a way to end the story. No, we won't. It is just bloody rude, right? And we can have all of these excuses of, she was really busy and she had something else on. It's like, or I couldn't get in touch with you. Bullshit. I have a text, I have DM, I have Instagram, I have emails, I have bloody carrier pigeon. There's so many ways to get in touch with you. So,
but I think
anyway,
just like
we want to end on a
it
positive note.
Turn on a really positive note.
Let's do it.
What you guys are saying, like what we've both been saying, like marry the opportunities you guys have and this like amazing like in-depth work you're doing in your photography, and if you can bring like those slightly more traditional values of like being on time and answering your emails,
manners, I think it's called,
together, like I mean, you guys will like skyrocket.
Kill it.
Skyrocket.
Yeah, fantastic, guys. Well, that's a positive note. We think you are both bloody fantastic. We're really excited about the future. Can we just tell people what's your Instagram handle, Tom?
Oh, my Instagram handle is a nightmare. I've been thinking about changing it lately.
Don't change it. What is it?
It's rebirth.jpg.
Oh, Jesus, I've just taken that back. Change it. That's terrible.
And it's even worse because it's REEEB1RTH.
Yeah, do you know what? I looked at it and I was like, I don't even know what this is. I didn't realise it was Rebirth.
Birthing photographer. Okay, forget that. That is
so
ridiculous.
I'm going to workshop that and I'll get back to it when I come on for season 3.
Keep the same.
What about your name, darling? What about your name? Okay, I can't even talk about that. That is so bad. I can't even talk about it.
Sorry, mine's also equally as bad.
Go on. What is it?
Mine is Technicolor Super 888.
For God's
just
sake.
how, you know,
at least it's spelled correctly.
No numbers in the words.
Okay, so I think maybe we'll edit that bit out because they're both rubbish. Okay, and your name is your best thing. Okay.
Thanks for that, Sally.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
appreciate that.
I'll send you the invoice. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and have a consultation with me.
Okay.
Here we go. Sorry, Harry.
That was
Let's
the
go.
third one this session.
Yeah, okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. And
Thank
Harry,
you both.
Of course.
a pleasure as always, darling.
always.
All right. Looking forward to the next one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. See ya.
Wow, wasn't that another fantastic episode?
So much fun.
And Harry, none of this is possible without the fantastic help we've had from, take it away.
Shaquille Raymond, what a rock star audio engineer.
I like that. Martin Stevens, my husband, for his guitar prowess on the intros and outros. And Shani Power, who is doing all of the behind-the-scenes photos and design of everything to do with the Instagram posts. Thank you all so very much to help us get our podcast out.
We'll see you on the next one.
We will. It's been wonderful, Harry. Thanks, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.